Chris Connell was listening and said, serious question, is AEW profitable? What do they actually own other than footage, rings, contracts, and championship belts? The tape library is probably worth the most, but I'm not sure how you quantify that footage. Well, the biggest line item is going to be the TV contract.
Right.
So their deal for Max and that whole quadruple Discovery Max.
I would love to see what their contracts. I'd love to see what they spend, because they keep running those big ass buildings, which aren't cheap, and then there's nobody in them, so there's no cost offset on running a 16,000 seat building.
Forget offset. There's nothing to take home afterwards.
Well, that's what I mean. So it's just. I don't know. You keep digging that. They keep digging that hole, and the next thing you know, if I could be like, they'll be running the fucking Grand Canyon.
Report I have here says AEW's net revenue for 2023 was projected to be around $154 million, up from $100 million in 24. However, total expenses were estimated at approximately $188 million, resulting in a loss of $34 million before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization.
Wow, those are fucking WCW numbers.
Yeah.
Without the Turner Home Entertainment taking their 50% fucking cut.
That's before taxes too. Good God. Well, I'm not surprised at any of those numbers though. So
$85 million a year on talent.
Does that count travel and
no?
Do they pay for any of their travel, or is this still on the 1099 employee to do this? Hotels are still on the wrestlers?
Yeah. No.
What?
When I went to Turner, I never paid for anything ever except my food.
But so now it's covered still?
Well, if they're smart enough to, I don't see why you would go backwards with deals.
Well, because look what happened to WCW. I think I would have probably not paid for your hotel room, Kevin. If I was giving you $1 million a year.
Well, I wouldn't have came. The upside was fucking, that was the whole thing. But WCW always, from the conception when I worked there as Oz, they paid for your room. They paid for your rental car. You used to have to have 3 guys in a rental car.
And
they've always paid for our flights.
What about TNA?
I drove there, but if it was someplace where it was on the road, they picked up my rental car. I was 68 miles from the Universal.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what it was, maybe 78. And I drove there, and then I would stay at the DoubleTree to work the next, because I wasn't driving all the way back and then back and back, So one week I would stay Sunday night, Monday night. And the next one I would just stay Monday night.
What about out-of-state travel?
They paid for everything.
Okay. Thomas Daddio said the video game contract. Remember, games make exponentially more profit than the movie industry. The NJPW deal and obviously the investment of stocks in other places are probably a factor. Forbes can never be trusted, though. I really don't think UFC is worth as much as everyone says either. I don't know the video game deal.
I don't know the video game deal. I know that the one, it's like Rockstar. Once you get the engine built, it's all profit for the company.
Right.
And they're not going to give you a shitload. I know there's so many people. Back in the day, there would be maybe 30 guys on the game, and you'd make fucking bank. You make 75, 100K on royalties on the game. Now there's so many people on the game. You're lucky if you make, you end up making your money on when people have to buy outfits and, you know,
Make all those
different.
additional purchases, in-game
Yeah.
purchases. I think the first merch participation for workers that was a real big deal were the old action figures in the 80s when, I mean, if you were Hogan,
The
you had
big
the
giant
t-shirts.
rubber ones.
Yes. If you were Hogan, you had the t-shirts, the headbands, and the posters and lunchboxes and all that stuff. Maybe the top 3 or 4 guys, but it was an opportunity for the rest of the roster to participate. And I remember Sheiky telling me his first quarterly check in like 85 was 80 grand. So for these guys who had for years never really made any real money in merch, that was the tipping point.
But the trade off was a fucking gram of Coke was fucking $110. So
Exactly, yeah. So when you
wasn't this 60 you can get now? So
you get in the car with Hacksaw.
keep it down.
Let's see this.
What is this?
Kevin Nash video game appearances. So I guess going backwards, starting at WWE 2K24, 2K23, 22, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, WWE 13, WWE 12. Here Comes the Pain, and something called Shut Your Mouth. Guess that wasn't on there. And here's some other games. You participate in the profits for these as well?
Oh.
Mayhem Universe, Battlegrounds, Supercard, WWE WrestleFest, TNA Cross the Line. Kev, we could talk about the hair and that anytime. Resembling Tracy Smothers. Were you going for that?
It looked nothing like Tracy Smothers. Right?
TNA Impact, Cross the Line. NWO with Authority, WCW NWO Revenge. How many total are there? 35? What number did I see there?
30, 34?
20 plus
34.
20 plus 25. Right?
Oh, so 54?
Yeah. What's that one all about for World Tour? Is that it's very small. Is that face paint? That image?
No, that was the one that that was the Diddy exclusive.
What's going on with that shot? Got a little bung on your face there. I think you went ass eating.
That Revenge one looks like
you're wearing the same suit. Can you bring up the Rock picture?
What's that? Was that Tron? NWO Tron.
It's very crude, and the body type. Now you look like Jimmy Snuka going as you for Halloween. Fernham Schnavitz III, his second appearance today, has a question. He said, Kev, out of all the boys you worked with over your career, who would you credit as the one who helped you most or was most important to your success?
It's not just one. I would think that Scott and Sean were probably the most instrumental because as I was the Diesel character and was the bodyguard outside, and then was backstage every night, and then in the car with it was just the three. At that time, it was just the three of us traveling. That I just basically watched, the entire process. How you talked about the match in the car, how you went into the building, changed the things, how you went to the ring, worked the match, came back, then, tweaked, took out, so it was just, definitely from a psychology work, like the whole, just to learn the proper way to do the process.